Welcome, everyone, to another episode of East Got Game, where we give you the X's, the O's, and the insights to the NBL1 East competition. Thanks for joining us tonight live on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook now that it's connected. And remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at East Got Game. Or you can continue to find our episodes on your preferred streaming platforms. On this week's episode, we'll be covering, the preliminary finals that were and some of the shakeups that we saw in the results. And we'll be looking forward to the grand final this weekend. Let's do a quick check-in, though. Lockie, how are you this week? Can you believe that another NBL1 East season is almost done?
It is almost done. 168 games in the bank and one to go on both the men's and women's side. Absolutely mammoth season, but the big one's still to come.
Yeah, big one still to come. The big dance in Penrith. And apologies, I did put on our East Got Game Instagram stories for everyone to get down to Canberra and support the East. And it was a slide for the East Grand Finals and not Nationals. So...
But do go to Canberra as well. Do go to Canberra as well.
Definitely go to Canberra as well. Like we've got to pack Tuggeranong Stadium. We've got to get everyone from the East turning up to Canberra to support the Nationals and show why the East does it best. Because we may not get this opportunity again, so may as well make the most of it. Am I right?
100%.
Now, we also need to say some congratulations to you, Lockie, because you've been announced as one of the commentators for the NBL1 East Grand Final for the women. Snaps to you. Well done.
Thank you, Squin. Yes, my third Grand Final in 4 years, which I'm pretty happy about. And yes, selected as play-by-play commentator alongside Lockie Beavis from Maitland. So the boys, we got it on lockdown.
Oh, please put that on a shirt. I want a shirt of you guys, a picture of you guys commentating. Put it on lockdown underneath. I mean, we're just full of ideas here. We're giving them away for free.
We are. But congratulations also to you, Squin, because you're holding it down up north. You got selected for the Women's Grand Final up there.
I sure did. Thank you kindly, Lockie. Thank you. Yes, I'm very lucky to be doing the NBL1 North Women's Final again. Was lucky to do it last year. Doing it again this year, Southern District Spartans versus the Logan Thunder. After, I was also very lucky to commentate the preliminary final or semi-final between Logan and Cairns on the weekend just go that went into double overtime.
Earned your keep.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, should we start charging overtime on our invoices for these double overtimes as well? But so... Look at us covering the East on the podcast and on the commentary. I consider myself to be bilingual in North and East now.
Love it.
But yeah, big weekends ahead for us. But yeah, if you're listening, East, North, wherever, remember, go and pack your venues, pack the stadiums, go and support the NBL1 finals on this weekend. I believe South is having their final this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's all lined up. I think it's, they've all got to get it done by Nationals on the 28th, 29th to the 31st. So, yeah, it's all happening all around the country.
Very exciting indeed. And speaking of, let's look at some of the headlines from the preliminary finals. Take it away, Lockie.
Well, Manly Warringah women, they just keep doing it by committee. Taylor Wirtz and Kim Dickinson, 21 apiece to lead the way, but then Miller and Bullman each in double figures. And Alex, any team that can get a win with Alex Delaney only having to score 8 points, that's a scary proposition. And that is exactly what Manly Warringah did to the Newcastle Falcons. It was cold, calculated, elite ball movement from start to finish. And as I've said before about Manly Warringah, you just can't let them get a little bit ahead because you won't be able to pull it back. And they just kept chipping. They just kept building the lead as the game went on quick runs here and there, and ended up rolling to an 89-67 victory in a game I went to. It was It was packed there at the Nest. The Manly Warringah men's team were all there, standing right behind the bench, giving it large. They were definitely in good spirits with the Manly Warringah boys. But it was a very, very good atmosphere up there. And I mean, Newcastle had 4 players in double figures of their own. Nicole Munger had 17, 10, and 7, but shot 7 of 23 from the field. So it kind of went how we talked last week. You know, Munger's probably going to get in numbers, but Manly are going to make it very, very difficult. And that's exactly how it panned out. So Manly Warringah into their second grand final in 3 seasons and looking to get their first East Championship.
This is it for them. This is it. It's got to happen this time. I know we said that last season, but, you know, we spoke to Josie Borman in our opening episode for season 3 of East Got Game, and she said as well, you know, this is it. They've got to take that mental edge from not succeeding or not becoming the champions the last couple of seasons to get them over the line this time.
Definitely. And they'll be doing it against not the North Bears, but the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence, who defeated Norths at the Bear Cave minus Amelia Darkic 74-63. So, and again, team performance: Fagan, Aleknovic, Smith, Izzy Smith, Zara Russell, all in double figures. Zara Russell leading the way with 18 points, playing the full 40 minutes. Got over the top of them in the final quarter, I believe. Late on, you know, we had it out on our phones whilst the Manly game was going on. It was 64-61 COE, and then it was 74-63 is how it panned out. So really ran away with it there at the last. So probably a lot closer than the scoreline suggests. But look, it's a preliminary final. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 or you win by 50. You just got to get to the championship game.
Yeah, the COE winning the last quarter 10 points to 20 and going on a 10-point run really to bring home that win. Despite both teams shooting really poorly not poorly, but North was shooting very poorly from the 3-point line. They shot 13.33 for the game, which is quite unusual for them, but a heavy focus on points in the paint. But yeah, looking at COE, they went on that 10-point run in the fourth quarter, and 14 of their 20 points in the fourth quarter were in the paint. So they were obviously doing something right, everything clicking at the right time and getting people in the right spots to score.
And I actually had a friend go to this game, and he said that Aspen Crace, despite only having 8 points and 6 rebounds, which is still a decent output, top 4 or 5 from the field, but he was very impressed with her. So even though she wasn't one of those 4 in double figures, the other starter coming up big.
Yeah, and we've got to remind ourselves too, I think the likes of Crace, but I know definitely Aleknovic, she only represented Australia for the first time this year at the U15 Oceania Cup. So she's still really young.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, that a lot of these players coming in later, you kind of forget just how young they are, because usually the stars of the COE are your second or even 2.5-year players.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, we forget how young Sataya Fagan is given her successes. She's only just played at her last 18s nationals this year. So yeah, she's still got lots of room to grow as well. And I do recall, I think last episode when we were talking about the awards, the NBL1 East Awards for 2025, saying that Fagan just needs to now get a finals MVP award to kind of almost get a 3/4 sweep on this season. And she's certainly lining herself up for it so far, now that they're going to the big dance.
Well, I mean, if they get the win, she's a big chance she'll be a big part of the reason why. But just now they almost made me eat my words with their performance in this preliminary final, having 4 players come out big. But Manly Warringah people, that Squin saying that Fagan's got to get finals MVP, not me. So
Yeah.
you see me at Penrith, it's not on me.
It's no, I will take full responsibility for that. But yeah, and I mean, that's not to say that on the other side of that, I have said, I think last episode, certainly can't remember if it was the episode before, but definitely last episode, I said, I know that I've tipped Newcastle to win the championship in the women's at the start of the season, but it was very clear going into that preliminary final. It's like, nah, this is Manly's to get. Yeah.
100% is. There was no 1997 ARL Grand Final Newcastle upset in that game. It was not better than Lego.
No. And what other headlines have you got for us for the preliminary final rounds?
You're going to make me talk about the men's competition? I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay, not the men's. I forget men play basketball too.
It's not that it's a men's basketball thing. It's a Sutherland thing. But we'll start with the Illawarra. We'll start with the Illawarra COE game because we were wondering about CJ Moran, and congratulations to him. Had some highlights over there at the Asia Cup for Syria, which was very nice to see. And step up Kyle Leslie with 19 points and 5 rebounds, 7 of 13 from the field in 31 minutes of action. And Illawarra just, COE won the fourth quarter 30-24 to reel it in a bit, but Illawarra coming away with a 98-89 win. And wouldn't you know, Todd Blanchfield, 27 and 15, and Kobe McDowell-White coming up a rebound short of a triple-double with 19, 9, and 11. So they're all-stars really coming to play in the big moments. And, that's what you expect from your NBL players is to, come up big in the big games. Lockie Dent and Matt Mims, both in double figures as well. And it's been, you need your big names to step up, but then sometimes you just need one extra player. It was Sophie Brennan in the 2024 Women's Grand Final. It was Casey Ardern a few years ago in that Grand Final we called. It was Kyle Leslie on this occasion for Illawarra men.
Yeah, I love those stories come finals time when there's someone that, has always been a solid player, but, usually in the middle of the bench rotation that just gets a chance in the final for whatever reason and just takes the baton and runs with it and just completely plays out of their skin. That's the kind of finals basketball I really like, is those fairy tale stories. So, yeah, big props there to Kyle Leslie for having a monster game. He shot a 54% as well. And what I really liked is that he was obviously playing well with his 19 and 5, shooting at 54% overall. And the coach left him out there because he obviously saw it was working. So you got to play what's working. It doesn't always mean that you've got to play, a certain 5 or whatever like that. So-and-so needs this many minutes. No, the people that need the minutes are the ones that are going to get you the win at the end of the day.
100%. To the point, Toby Campbell started and only played 7 minutes, but then even Brad Ballinger only played 5.5 minutes off the bench, which you'd expect him to see a lot more playing time. But if Leslie's hot and whatever they're doing is working, just roll with it. But you got to shout out the COE boys, 6 players in double figures, Nash Walker and Shea Brogan. They've been huge in the late stage of the season. They came up big again. Running into the buzzsaw that is that Illawarra team that when they put it all together, very, very difficult to stop. And they are off to Penrith for a grand final where they will face the Canberra Gunners, the Macquarie Pass Melee, as I have taken to calling it. The
Macquarie Pass Melee. Is that something that you have just kind of come up with just for this occasion?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
good.
It is. Yes. Although, game names, they stick. But yes, Canberra came out of the blocks firing 25-11 first quarter. Dismal in the middle half of the game. Across the second and third quarters, Sutherland owned that period 58-35 with 31-19 in the second quarter and 27-16 in the third quarter. I tell you what. Whatever Pete Herrick said to his boys at the end of the third quarter, You put the boot up them on the defensive end because they gave up 7 points in the fourth quarter. Just 7. They won the fourth quarter 24-7 to get an 84-76 win. They opened the fourth quarter, I think, on a 17-2 run, I think, which I think is identical to what Comets opened the third quarter with in the semifinal against Sutherland. On that occasion, Sutherland had time to reel it back in. Not this time.
Yeah, it looks like a phenomenal game, especially given that 24-7 final quarter and, the likes of Tui and Mayfield just coming alive, just getting whatever needed to get done. Obviously, hitting some big shots from the three-point line, as well as the Gunners shot 55.56% from the three-point line in that fourth quarter alone. So they're really digging deep. But this is something we talk about the Gunners a lot, I feel like, over the 3 seasons of EGG. They just really know how to secure a win in the fourth quarter, whether they're up by a comfortable margin or if they're, just perhaps down by a slight margin. They always find a way. And they had their work cut out for them seriously in this game. It would have felt so satisfying to get the win in the end.
Yeah, I mean they were down by 9 after 3 quarters, so they did have to actually reel it in, and Tui, Mayfield, and Morrison all came out, got it done, and they had a lot of players chipping in with a few points around the way. And Cam Pender, interesting, he only had 2 field goal attempts, but had 10 rebounds and 5 assists. So sometimes your role just is what it is on the night. And for Sutherland, the big 3, almost the big 4, Hutchison, Noy, Spurgeon, Jamison, all in double figures. But I mean 17 points off the bench is it's not too dissimilar to what Canberra put up, but Taylor Young, just an off night, only 4 field goal attempts, and didn't finish with a point, even though he had 5 assists. But usually, he's a guy who shoots 45% from 3-point range for the season. So he was probably one that, Canberra would have, eyed off as, don't let him get open from deep. And, it ends up he only had 2 3-point attempts for the entire game.
And how's Lockie Hutchinson's stat line, though? 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals.
And 6 of 9 from 2-point range and 5 of 5 at the line. He had a few turnovers, but I mean, still, when even when his team goes down, you can count on Lockie Hutchison to do a lot of good things in a big game.
Well, he had 6 turnovers, 6 steals, and 6 assists. So for me, that all balances out.
Fair call.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he would see it the same, but.
No, I'm sure this entire Sutherland team is, I think they'll be more annoyed that they put themselves in the position where they had to play the 2 games just to get to Canberra in the first place, rather than getting the top 4, winning, getting a week off. I think they know they could have, they probably should have made, I think we talked about it. They had 2 lean periods during the season and pretty much condemned them to a fight just to make the 8, which I think they'll look back and say they could have definitely done better. But I critique because I love boys.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not like we're not those people who call themselves fans who just tear strips off their teams that they apparently love. Like, this is all just observation and things like that.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, still, to make a preliminary final against, in a competition with, the top 3 finished 15-5, and, got over that Bankstown team at Bankstown, got past Comets in a game where the benches look like a mash unit, still plenty to be proud of.
Oh, definitely. It was quite a turbulent season for them. So, yeah, to get as far as they did, definitely lots to be proud of. Hopefully they started to celebrate their silly Sundays and mad Mondays already?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, it's a long bus ride back from Canberra. You got plenty of time.
Oh yeah, well, how long is the
Moose.
bus ride from Canberra to Sutherland?
Probably 3 hours. I mean, I know we're on the south, but you've got to get across as well.
True. So yeah, maybe they would have had time to step into Mooseheads for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it looks like our grand finals for the men's and women's are set in stone. We're going to talk a little bit more about the grand finals in terms of the preview and things like that very shortly when we have a couple of special guests that are going to jump on and join us. And we've also got the MVP awards announced this week. Lockie, would you like to do the honors and announce who were our MVPs for 2025?
I certainly would. So in the men's competition, it was incredibly close, as they are mentioned on the NBL1 East Instagram, that there was one vote in it, and it was Todd Blanchfield getting the win over Will Mayfield. So the two fields beat the field. And I don't think you could be upset either way. I mean, 3-2-1 voting, these guys were putting up monster performances every week. One vote in it. I mean, what can you say? So congratulations to both of them, particularly to Todd for picking up the MVP, and he's re-signed for 2 more NBL1 seasons. I mean, the idea of any player signing a multi-year contract in NBL1 is rare in and of itself, but for a player of Todd Blanchfield's quality to do so, he's well and truly embedded down there in Illawarra. So great to see.
And in the East, woo!
And then on the women's side, well, I think this one was pretty well known. Nicole Munger getting back to back, winning MVP over Taylor Words of Manly Warringah. But I mean, as I said, 3-2-1 voting, Munger putting up monster performances every week. I said it last week. I don't think anyone was going to catch her. And I mean, honestly, in that Manly team, for any player to get second in MVP voting with how many players they have putting up good performances every week, that's impressive in and of itself.
Mm. Yeah, totally agree. And I did like how the NBL1 East socials were kind of doing a drip feed of the MVP, like from 5 to 1. But I was worried there for a second when they announced Todd Blanchfield and Munger that Will Mayfield and Taylor Wirtz weren't going to get any kind of mention at all. So it's like, oh, so you've come second, but you don't get a mention?
Fortunately, yes.
Yes.
They did mention both. It was good, yeah. I mean, it was smart to do the top 2, because if you do the second place, well, then everyone already knows the MVP. So it was good of them to do the top 2 first.
Yes, I agree. And I'd love to know the votes in the difference in the votes between the two. Just before, we've got one of our very special guests in the green room. So just before we jump in to say hello to them, we did have an anonymous tip via our Instagram DMs just about the All-Star 5 voting that we were talking about last episode. So All-Star 5, there's only 3 positions you can vote on: guard, forward, and center. And we have word that the likes of, say, Jacob Furphy was nominated as a forward by the COE and not a guard. So that kind of gives a little bit of context as to why he wasn't in All-Star, but he can get Youth Player of the Year and things like that. Because when he's nominated as a forward, he's going to be coming up against the likes of Blanchfield, Mayfield, or even Kawatanoy or Galloway. So he's never going to win that kind of fight. Furphy against McDowell White was a tough one for Youth Player of the Year. But this person also said it makes sense what you said last week, Lockie, for players who aren't on the MVP list actually get All-Star 5 recognition because they're still amazing. So they were agreeing with that too. So yeah, just a little bit of extra information about how the whole thing works in terms of All-Star 5 voting and splitting votes, and remembering that the Players Club needs to nominate them for these awards and in these positions. So when the likes of Anthony Mundine III aren't in contention for Youth Player of the Year like he should be, remember, it all comes back to something else. So it's not on BNSW, it's not on NBL1 East. There's other processes that have to be done first.
Well said, Squid.
Yes, I tried to be as diplomatic as possible. But anyway, we are very, very lucky to have one of two special guests in the house. They are someone we were very excited to be joining NBL1 East this season after admiring them from afar as NBL1 West, which is far enough, but even further when they had played in Europe. And now they are here in our shores. And hopefully that jersey in the background is for this particular player, Lockie. It's Katie Jones. Hey, Katie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Let me try and set this.
Very
Is
good.
that way? Is this it? Better that way.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. We've also got our other special guest in the green room, but before we get him to jump on board and get you both of your opinions on the grand finals, how are you? How have you enjoyed this season in NBL1 East? And thank you for being here.
Was that just cut out for a sec?
We were just asking, how did you find your season with the Bandits?
Oh, it was great. I really loved it. Yeah, I probably couldn't have asked for like a better place to first move out of the West to go to. So no, it was really good. Yeah, pretty disappointed with where we finished in the end. I think we were worthy of better than the semi. So yeah, but that's life, is what it is. So yeah, wish we could have finished a little higher though, for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely big fans of the Bandits program, of Sammy Mack, and of players like yourself who are playing for the Bandits this season. So we were definitely rooting for you, and yeah, feel for you that you couldn't go a little bit further. But we're really, like I said, really glad that you played in the East. And did you feel like you had a chance to develop your game further after a season here?
Yeah, definitely. I think just like one of the major things is just playing against different people, like kind of being able to match yourself up against someone like Manga or other players. So yeah, like that definitely did a lot for me. I think just having that exposure into a new conference and kind of test where I'm at level wise with the rest of the country. So no, it was good.
And before we bring in our other guest, Lockie, have you got any questions quickly for Katie?
Yeah, why didn't you remember my jersey instead of having to mail it to me?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. 3 times. 3 times I forgot. 3 separate road trips, but it's okay. It's fine. It made it there in the end.
It did make it.
Every time I forgot. The crazy part is that like I didn't even forget like in Albury. Like it wasn't even in Albury. It was just always at like where we were staying. Like I would just forget to bring it to the game. It was terrible. I'm so bad. I always brought it, but that's all right. Gave up in the end. I said, right, that's it. I'm mailing it. It's the only way I can trust myself.
All right, and it's time to bring on our other very special guest for this evening. He's someone who has been a guest on EGG this season already. Also someone next to Katie who was up there in the conversations for MVP for the 2025 season. We've got Jason Kadee back in the house. How are you, Jason?
Good, yourself?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Also, commiserations for your season ending before the grand final, but happy with the result in the end?
I just heard Katie's answer. It's probably similar. Happy that we got a home final. Probably not happy how it ended and finishing a little bit earlier than this coming weekend, but that's also how it goes.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to be proud about for each of your respective clubs as well, given that you're probably two clubs that are often underrated or unsung heroes in the East, despite the consistent good performances. So going strength to strength for the Bruins and the Bandits was really great to watch this season. So now we've got you both here because, surprise, surprise, we are, the grand final weekend is upon us. I don't know about either of you because you're both having to do the hard work, Katie and Jason, of actually playing the games, whereas Lockie and I just get to sit and watch and commentate. But Katie, has the season gone quickly for you, or do you feel like it's been a bit of a slog?
No, that kind of flew by for me. I felt like, because I'm actually back in Perth now. I've had to come back since we last, but anyway. And so, yeah, I felt like I was barely in Albury, hey. Like, it was just like, it was so quick. But no, yeah, I think it was interesting how it developed this year. I think, like, there was a lot of teams, there was a lot of change. Like, there was some teams that were really on the up and then kind of crash and burned, or like the late incoming, like Bankstown. Like, I think, like, those girls, they started playing really well, like, in the back end of the year. So, yeah, no, it was quick. It moved fast, yeah.
And what about you, Jason? Someone who has notched, 350 or so NBL games going season to season. Does the seasons get quicker or do they feel longer?
Sometimes it all blends in, but this one felt quick. I'd probably say the initial part felt slow because there was a lot going on in my life at that time, but I felt the back end flew by. It just was like all of a sudden there was 1, 2, 3 weeks left and it was finals time. So it definitely flew by, and probably for us even more so just because we were in essentially a win or go home position for a little while. So it definitely made it go a little faster.
And so, yeah, we've invited you both today to help us preview the grand final that is on this weekend. Actually, Lockie, do we want to get Katie and Jason's take on the MVP awardees?
Well, that'd be good. I like that.
If you're both comfortable with that, because both of you came third in MVP race, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure did.
Well done. Well done to you both. Did you get some kind of bronze medallion for MVP or anything in the mail, or just the Instagram post?
The Instagram post was enough. I'll take that. As close as I've gotten to any award like that, so I'll take it.
MVP race. Jason, we'll go to you first. Thoughts, feelings? Todd Blanchfield winning the men. Over
that's about right.
Will Mayfield. Yeah, about right.
No, I thought Blanche had it sewn in the bag a while back. So he had a really good year. And Blanche is one of those guys, I always call them like cheat codes in the NBL1, where the guys that are like, in the NBL, they're like a 3, but in NBL1, they can be a 4. So they can be a bit bigger than the most. And so they can kind of swing between both. And so Fortunately, I played with Blanche back when we were kids at the AIS and then on the Gold Coast together. And so I know how good he is to play alongside, and especially in this level, he just is a problem for everyone to handle. So I thought Will with Canberra had a good year, so deserved in the conversation. But I thought Blanche was just a level above, which I think most would agree with this year.
And about Will Mayfield, particularly with his breakout season, so to speak, this year, Defensive Player of the Year, second in MVP race. Do you think he has the potential, or do you think he's ready to step up to NBL?
I think he's definitely got the tools and the size for it. Like, I haven't obviously seen a lot of him. I've seen bits and pieces over the years, but obviously this year being in the East, I've seen way more of him and played against him. So he's got the physical tools. He shoots the ball at a pretty good clip. Well, he did this year. And so I think they're the kind of things. I think when people come down to play in, say, the NBL1 level, a lot of people think it's about scoring 30 or 40 points to get up a level, but it's actually about what translates. And so for someone like him, shooting the ball as well as he has and defending the way he has, that's probably the quickest way to find your way up in an NBL roster. So I thought the way he went about it, and then obviously to help lead your team to a grand final, that's the perfect kind of audition to say, can someone give me a chance? Because I think he's that kind of talent where he could slide into a roster and do a job.
And Katie, over to you. Nicole Munger with the 3-peat MVP award again, and Taylor Worth from Manly is second. Is that how you saw it playing out?
Yeah, 100%. To be honest, I actually tipped myself 4. So I was just having to do a 1-up. But yeah, no. So Mungo 100%. I mean, I've there seems like there's been some conversation recently about it should have been Taylor Wirtz. Personally, I think Taylor Wirtz is a great player. You know, Manly's a great team. They're awesome. But I just think if I think about even just like in a one-on-one scenario, like Mungo was like unstoppable and when someone's unstoppable when you play them, it's just like it's not even a question of like she was gonna do the 3 feet, I think. So especially she's also leading 2 statistical categories and one of them isn't even points. So, you know, like to do that as a like more of a small forward like wing, like yeah, I totally agreed with that call. I thought that was right.
Is she probably the toughest competitor you faced in the East?
Definitely, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Are there any other tough competitors from the East that you'd like to give a quick shout out?
Well, I'll go with some teammates first. Riley Lupfer, my running
Yeah.
mate. She's awesome, really super competitive. Like we'll get on my butt, definitely. Yeah, but I think you know, Fagan, she's good. She's got a good future, and I think she's got a good head about her. And she's definitely making the right moves. I think I'll give a shout out to Christina Moore as well. I think she had an excellent season. Just unfortunate that the Bulls didn't make the playoffs, but I think Christina had a really good year as well. Yeah.
So, Lockie, I've done a lot of yapping since Jason and Katie have joined us. So, I'm going to throw to you to lead the conversation about the finals previews, if you're cool with that.
Certainly. Where should we start with the women or the men?
Women first.
Women first. Well, it is the game being played first. So
Yeah.
it is the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles carrying that monumental winning streak into the grand final against the upstart Centre of Excellence. And Manly Warringah have had the wood over COE. In round 1, it was 80-65. Manly got up. And in round 15, it was 75-71 Manly Warringah got up. But I guess, Katie, because you've played against both of these teams, COE, in one of those games, they had everyone plus Jade Crook. And in one of the other one, they were missing Duckich, Russell, and Fagan. So
Yeah.
if you're either of these teams, how much are you really taking out of these results that have happened in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. Obviously, like that result, I think it was that last one with Russell, no Fagan and no Dakic. Like that's pretty much their main jam, you know, like when it comes to their offense and even their defense as well. So they did miss Dakic this weekend, I noticed as well in the prelim, and they were all right against Nords. So I think she controls tempo for them well. She was a good up and coming point guard. But yeah, I think it's hard. I don't think Manly was missing anyone on either side in both of those contests. I just think in terms of the flow of maybe not so much the matchup, but how COE has been trending in the last 2 weeks, I think that they might give it a good crack, definitely.
And I mean, players like Olivia Oleknowicz and Isabel Smith, did either of you know much about players like this? And have you both been impressed by them? How impressed have you been by them? I'm sure we all have been impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think Olivia particularly, you know, someone who I don't think she got as many minutes at the beginning of the year. And then kind of as their injuries fell and people left and that sort of thing, she started kind of shining a little bit more. She was excellent for them in our final when she played. She was really good. And I think Smith's been pretty consistent for majority of the year for them. She's still young, but no, I thought she had a really good drive on the left and the outside shot. So they've got the right pieces, I think, for sure. It'll be, yeah, interesting to see how it pans out.
And Jace, you obviously you were at the AIS, so you know what these COE players have been through. When they have that 4 weeks off where some of them go away, but the younger kids aren't playing, do you think that's something that has really helped them, just that rest period when they're in that first season at the AIS?
It can go both ways a little bit because that's when obviously the drop-off can happen. And then you've got young boys or girls everywhere. Like there's some playing, there's some just staying there training, there's some overseas. And so that kind of mix is normally when the fall off can happen. But I think to the girls' credit, they've kind of come back and as Katie just said, they've kind of jumped in the finals and actually just played really well throughout the first few weeks. And so you kind of, for Manly, who have been pretty consistent, I think you'd obviously have them favourites, but it's kind of one of those games when you're going in to play a COE group that's kind of retooled and getting ready. They're a bit of a spanner in the works, right? Because they're young, they're going to be full of energy, and that can go either or. They could come out and just go blazing, and all of a sudden it's a real contest, or they could come out and really struggle just being so young. So it makes for a pretty even contest. But those girls, they're in an elite environment. Once you get to the AIS, you're basically a full-time basketballer. So it's also the setting and what they kind of train for is to be in these situations.
And I guess for Manly, they have so many defensive weapons that they can just throw at people. They did it to Newcastle against Munger. How tough is it coming up against a team where everybody plays good defense and there's no turnstiles?
I mean, for me personally, I think that anybody who is even in earshot of a premiership should be playing good defense as a team. So I'd say like you've been having that already at the top four. Like they're not like no offense to them, but like they're not the only team that are doing that. You know, like I think honestly, like COE also have really good principles because they get to practice a lot. They get to see each other every day. They live with each other. Like they have that kind of chemistry that's almost like I was never COA kid, so I can't speak for it, but it's almost like a college level chemistry, like that they just have that defensive, like in terms of rotations. And so I think in terms of the defensive contest, you're actually looking at two pretty level teams. Like that's something that will be interesting. It's the same as like Nords has a like really great defense as well. So yeah, I think you can see it everywhere. But no, I think they actually match up quite well in that area. Yeah.
And I guess I want to get from each of you, if there's one player you think who is going to make the difference in this game for each team, who has to have a good performance from each team, Jason, if their team's going to win the game?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, it's one of those grand finals bring out different things. Like I always say to groups when I've ever been in one, it's not actually about the individual performance. It's actually about who kind of there'll be someone, but it's about who as a group can dig in early and kind of just throw continuous punches. I think for Manly, they've done it by committee for a lot of the season. And as you've already mentioned a few of their names, like it could be anyone that actually has that part where it kind of shows out. But I think like I've known her for a long time and people like Alex Delaney are truly the people that kind of make everything tick over for them. So someone who's been around the amount of environments she's been in, I think it goes a long way for her to kind of be the one just to set the tempo for them and just make sure everyone's engaged. I think that'll go a long way. And then for the COE, I don't know if I can pick one, but I've actually had a mind blank on a name. Katie mentioned it before. The what's her name? The young girl who's been playing really well and got in the All-Star in the Full-Star 5.
Fagan.
Yes, I think she like the few times I watched her play during the year when they played Bankstown, she just the tools, the athleticism, the way she shoots it. I was just like, this girl is going to be a very good basketball player for a long time. And so, I think given what she's already done through this, I think she'll be someone that if I'm the COE and I can get her going, I think that'll go a long way to them winning.
Katie?
That's pretty bang on. It's funny you said Alex Delaney because I was actually going to say Alex Delaney because unfortunately in our initial final, like week one, like we kind of had like she was the fire starter that did more, I think, like for them than anybody. Like she came out, she just hit threes at the right time, like stepped in front of somebody. And so, you know, she was a pretty big difference maker for Manly, let's say, in that game, like from my experience that we played as well. I think Dickinson, I think she can really be effective as well. I think if she has a good game, they look really good. And then probably for COE is interesting because, you know, like Fagan's kind of had a good game, like every single game. Like there's not really been a, you know, like a massive lull. But I think Zara Russell in the last couple of weeks has really made the difference for the games that they have won, unfortunately, against us. But yeah, no, she was really good. She was really good against us, and so credit to her for being quite a young player. She made the right decisions, and she just knew when to take the game on in the fourth quarter and like hold tempo, and then knew when it was her turn to go. So no, I think she'll be pretty good for him.
Aubrey Wodonga have a Zara Russell fan club. Sammy
Do
Mack
we?
was
Do we?
in the chat last week talking up Zara Russell.
Oh right. Yeah, no, I mean, look, she played really well against us. I was impressed. It was good.
It sounds like it's going to be players who aren't necessarily similar to what you said before, Jason, when we're talking about Will Mayfield and the prospect of NBL. Not necessarily players who are going to be putting up 30 points or getting a double-double, doing all of those extra kind of things that you can't put on a stat sheet that are super important, like controlling the tempo, like Katie was saying about Zara, and Alex Delaney getting out and being a role model by like putting her body on the line and taking the shots at the right time. It sounds like they're the important kind of players, or almost like glue players that are going to be really important in the final. Am I right in saying that, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. We'll keep our eyes on them for sure. And Zara Russell's just been outstanding since she's come back from the Under-19 World Cup.
Yeah, she was really good. She was, even kind of what you were saying with those role players, you know, like everyone's going to have a strategy. Like when it comes to a grand final, you've already played each other like maybe 2 or 3 times before. So it's who's going to shine through the scout, who's going to shine through the strategy of that defensively or offensively. So yeah, that'll always make the difference.
So on to the men. So I went and looked through the stats for the men, and Jace, you'll be best placed to speak to this. Illawarra, their offensive rebounding rate is terrible. It's 21%. It's lowest in the league. But you've played them. Is that just a function of the way they play? They don't crash the boards. They get back on defense instead and shut you down that way?
Yeah, they just shoot threes.
Yeah.
they got no one to rebound because they're all around the perimeter shooting threes. They've just kind of like, if you look at, like everyone talks about the run and gun, like we played them down in Illawarra, and it was maybe one of the best games I've been a part of in a long time in terms of the NBL1. Just like I thought we were very, very good, and they just continue to make threes. And so we couldn't, like every time we got a bit of a lead or got back in front, they'd make threes. And so it's a dangerous game because if that day you show up and things don't go down, that's kind of the way it goes. So, but no, for them, they just get up and down. They run and gun. They shoot a lot of threes, and it's what's got them here. So I'd say that's what they're going to stick with.
It's interesting you mentioned that it's a dangerous game because Illawarra and Canberra are the top 2 teams in the league for effective field goal percentage. So Illawarra have got a team that can match them in terms of putting the ball in the basket with efficiency.
Yeah, I think I would say Illawarra have more firepower than Canberra. I'd just say Canberra's been a group that's been together a long time. They know how to play, they know how to stay in contests, and they know how to grind through stuff. If you look at it from just the game that it is, I think like I would have Illawarra as a heavy favourite in terms. I just think they'll have too much firepower. But I also think if I was a Canberra person listening to this, that's probably exactly what they're after, and that's probably exactly how they stick to that. Like they're those kind of guys that strike me as a group that just roll in each day and expect to be the underdog, and they're going to continue to show how good they are. And so I'd say it probably plays perfectly into the matchup.
And Katie, as a Western Australian, you've played on state teams, or I'm sure you've been,
Smacked. Yeah.
I was going to say where you've been considered the underdog by the rest of the country and come out and done really well. Under 20s.
I mean, it was a progression. Like Vic Metro handed us under 16s. By the time we hit 20s, we knew what we were walking into. Like it takes time, but we got there. It was eventually.
Yes.
But I like the underdog. I think it's yeah, it's fun to play in. Like it's way more like me. I could say my best experience as underdog is probably my NBL1 finals last year with Lakeside. That we finished. I think it was 7th or 8th, maybe bottom, like in the bottom of the 8. And we had to go away on the elimination, smacked the elimination final, and then walked up to play like Warwick, who was 2nd at the time, I think. And we were going into it. We'd played Warwick 2 weeks before, got smacked by 45 points, and we were like, yeah, we really are the underdog here, and won the game. Like, and so those ones are honestly they're like the most fun. Like, and so I think as that team, like as Canberra, like they'll definitely take that fire. And yeah, I actually don't know what their contests. Sorry, this is really bad, but I don't know who won their contests in the regular season. But that could also play a role as well. So yeah, but no, the underdog's fun. It's good.
So they actually, each team won their home contest. So Illawarra defeated Canberra 85-78 at the Snake Pit in round 7, and then Canberra
Okay.
won it 93-85 at Belco.
Okay, so
Belconnen.
that's a good setup. I actually wouldn't even call that underdog if they're evens on the year. I'd say that's just like a pretty good contest. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just need to do whatever it takes to get yourself up for the game, and if calling yourself the underdog is it. The human brain can be a funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly ask what you both think. I'll go to you first, Jason, about talking about Illawarra and their roster. And it's really funny how you mentioned that they just shoot threes, because that's exactly what they do. It's almost like they all take a turn around the arc playing on the rack of who's going to shoot the next 3. Not fun. And this is coming from someone who's picked them to win at the start of the season. But with a team like Illawarra and their firepower, I think also comes with a bit of ego, perhaps, healthy or unhealthy. Do you think that's going to be kind of like a dividing factor in how they perform in the grand final?
No, not with that group. Just because I think it's like they all know Blanche is the guy, and then the rest of them kind of fill their spots around that. And so I think any group that can buy into that, and it's not them all, there's a difference when everyone's trying to be that guy on the night. That's when it can get challenging. But I think for them, they kind of know that, listen, we're trying to play through Blanche. We're trying to put Blanche in positions to be successful, and then we'll all feed off that. And so you got guys like Lockie. Kobe McDowell-White's a young fella, but he's been around. Like, he was around me when at the Bullets 5-6 years ago. Like, he's just been around since he was a kid. His brother's obviously an elite player. So I just think they got a group that's been around the Hawks for one. So a lot of those guys trained with them last year and then just stayed around. And so I think that kind of connection, it just translates. And they don't finish where they did if they were battling those issues throughout the year of not knowing. So I just think for that group, and to your point around shooting a lot of threes, Penrith has great shooting rings. I've had some awesome games there as a junior. So if I was Blanche, I'd be extremely happy that the grand final's at Penrith.
Yeah, might have to look up his stats, actually, if they ever got to play in Penrith, just to see what his shooting stats were like. I'll have to have a deep dive and look at it a bit later. But maybe you can send when you send Blanche a good luck text, just be like, "You'll be right, mate. Good shooting rings."
He'll figure it out pretty quick. He'll walk out and take his first shot, and no one Blanche will be like, "Oh, good rings." That's exactly how Blanche thinks. And as a shooter, when you think that, it's always a nice feeling.
Yeah. I can confidently say that I've never had that feeling in the length and depths of my playing career. Maybe one day, if I return a social comp down at Auchenflower, I'll think about it.
Another place with great rings.
You think? Really? Auchenflower? You reckon you like the Auchenflower rings?
Loved them. When I played there with the Capitals, I loved them.
See, for us on Tuesday night comp at Auchenflower, just ladies comp, we always get put back in that upstairs court. So I don't know what the court 1 rings are like anymore.
They're all the same in that joint. They're all good.
Yeah, they probably are, yeah.
But court 1 especially.
Trying to blame the rings. I should take onus for my own shooting. But yeah, Katie, did you watch much of the men's competition, or have you had much experience with like having to balance out egos and roles and responsibilities throughout your playing career?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bit of experience with the on the rack thing, like you were saying. That was kind of my team this year as well. But no, I think like definitely like the ego is interesting because, you know, it can really play in your favor and it can also flip the opposite. Like it's kind of one of those things. It's like you need a little bit of like confidence and like kind of that like chip off your shoulder, like chip on your shoulder, like we're gonna do this and we're gonna win. Because if you don't have that kind of mentality, then you just don't have the mental strength going into it, to like fight through those sort of things. So yeah, I think, but kind of like what Jason was saying, like I watched the Illawarra game when we played them, and they're just like they're a very well oiled machine in terms of like getting Todd the ball. Like, and they also know how to read each other to play off Todd. Like it was like get him the ball, watch him get doubled, and then cut off the backside, or like those sort of things. So yeah, I think Illawarra has definitely got good numbers there to play out of him, and yeah, they've got a good balance of playing for him and then also stepping up when they need to. Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting is as well. Lockie, do we need to cover some more, much more on these games, do you think, other than giving predictions?
I mean, I'd like to get your opinions on how much do you think depth will play a part in a game like this? Because, I mean, we talked about it before you both came on that Illawarra, Kyle Leslie played 31 minutes and they barely touched the bench otherwise, whereas Canberra, I think, ran 12 players against or 11 players against Sutherland. So, Jason, do you think depth really matters that much in a game like this, or can you just win it with a short rotation if that's what you got?
Do you want my honest opinion on this?
Go for it.
If I was coaching, 7 guys get ready to play. And if I need 8, 9, 10, 11, you'd be ready to go just in case. But for me, you get through the season with a full group and everyone plays their part. But sometimes in these games, it's when you got to rely upon the group that is kind of your go-to guys or girls. And so if I was coaching that group, my starting 5 would be playing a lot of minutes. And if someone wasn't getting it done, then I'm filtering through the bench. And at times, for sure, you're going to play people. But for me, I just think you're playing in your best group as much as possible and as long as possible, barring foul trouble, because I just think there are levels to basketball and you've got those guys there for a reason. And I just think for me, I'd be looking at that starting group for Illawarra. And even if I was Canberra, I'd be trying to play my main guys as much as possible, especially Will, Tui and Morrison. I'd be keeping those guys in as long as I can. And I just think it's that space. It's 40 minutes of basketball. So if you're not fit enough at this stage to play 40 minutes, you're doing something wrong. And as a player, I wouldn't want to come off. So that's the other part.
Agree. There's no way. No way.
So if you're looking at me for a sub, I'm not giving you a response.
Yeah. You can call a timeout first before I sub off.
I think Peach used to, when I was on the Gold Coast, Peach actually got to the point being like, I'm not subbing you unless you ask for one. Even if you ask for one, I'm not going to listen to you the first time. And I was like, yeah, righto, cool.
And how many minutes did you average per game this season, Jason?
Probably the lowest I have in a while, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I haven't looked at my stats. I actually thought I was given a little favour by people for the voting of the MVP because it was probably the worst individual statistic season I've ever had in my life in the NBL1. But I appreciate the votes. But no, I actually have no idea. But I know in previous years, Lockie, I haven't had many subs at all. So I probably averaged close to 40 minutes in most of my NBL1 career. This year, not so much.
32.
There you go. See, I want to say that's probably a record low.
And Katie,
Wow.
33.
What was mine, sorry?
33.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Katie's saying not enough. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Coming back
I
35 plus.
I thought it was going to be like 36, and I would have been like, yeah, and it was 33. No, it's all right.
33 and 32 and 33 is still amazing. That's like still, like you're still on for most of the game. Like that's not a quarter. Like the time that you're off, you're still not off the whole quarter.
It's good. It's more like for me, I'm like, oh, should be fitter. If I had to be off for 7 minutes, like I should be fitter than that. That's crazy.
And
I
Jace, your
played a few
stats are
40s late.
You
I
did.
played
You
a
played
few
40
minutes late. Yeah,
40
the
in
last
the-
few games. Curtis said no more subs. I said, all right. But it didn't work out for us, so next year I'll be asking for more subs.
40 against Manly, 40 against Sutherland, 40 against COE earlier in the season.
Yeah, that one
36
hurt me too. That COE game when I knew I was retired from the NBL, that's when I knew because I was like, and that was on a back-to-back. I was cooked. But me and Jalen, I remember the game. We travelled down. We played Friday at home. Or Saturday at home. We travelled down Sunday. So it was one of those classic, you turn around playing at 2 o'clock the next day. And the game was back and forth. We were hanging in the fight. And that was when they had their full group. And the third quarter, I got going a little bit. And we made a run and we made it a game. And I looked at Jalen. I said, we can't go out, bro. We got to push through. After the game on the way home with him, I go, we should ask for subs. I can't walk. They're too young for me to be trying to run around for 40 minutes.
Too much. I don't know. For kids that train however many times a day, every day, still somehow have the energy just to go pinging up and down, nonstop.
No. Well, I don't know many of them were playing 40 minutes. That's the other part. They were rotating through subs. We were just trying to survive.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I was going to ask something, but I can't quite remember now, actually. Loxo.
All right. Same deal. Katie, one player from each team that's going to get it done in the men's grand final.
In the men, Illawarra. I'm taking Illawarra on that one for sure.
And who's going to do it for them? Is it anybody but Blanchfield?
Oh, I like McDowell White. I think he is a good facilitator for them. Like when I was watching, like I said, I only saw one game, but I think he was quite a big difference maker defensively as well. I thought he was pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna take him.
Jason, I think your decision's already well and truly been explained.
I think Illawarra and I think Blanche will get it done. He's been in this environment too many times, so I think he'll have a big game and show why he was the MVP. But I do think it'll be a good game, and I think Mayfield and Canberra. I think he'll play well. I think and they obviously had the experience last year of losing, so that helps. But I think Toddy and Illawarra will be a little bit too much.
Just one last point. With Nationals being in Canberra this year, is that extra motivation, or once you get to this point, does it not even rate a mention?
Let Katie answer this one because I don't know if my honest answer to that question is good for the NBL.
What's your answer, that we shouldn't be going to Canberra? No. I think, look, for me, like internally, like I just knew that I wanted to get like my team to the furthest place I could, so it didn't really matter where it was. Like, so, I think you already have that like intrinsic motivation of like that we want to win a championship, and it's like getting to the national finals is just like a bonus of the championship. It's like we get to go chase another one. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would be cool to be able to do it in front of like home fans, but yeah, I think you'd already have that motivation if you would in the grand final anyway.
I think because I knew as an NBL player I wasn't playing in it, so I never cared about the Nationals. That was more what my response was going to be. It was never, for me, it was about winning the North or the East or whatever I was playing in. It wasn't, I just didn't care about the Nationals because I knew that we weren't going to be able to play in it anyway, just given the NBL commitments. And so that's where I just think it needs a bit of a revamp. I think like the NBL1 Nationals should have probably been this weekend or last weekend, and everyone else should have been finished either the last week of July or the first week of August. I just think we've got to get that balance right so that the Nationals can maybe be like, I've watched a few Nationals and it's like the team with the full team wins and they're not even the best team. So it's like, yeah, I've just watched Team Spruce for winning it, and I'm like, well, you're not even playing proper rosters. Like I remember when we won the Gold Coast the first year of NBL1 or the second year, Like we would have won the Nationals or gone very close with a full group, but whoever won it, I think it was maybe even Frankston, who didn't even win their conference. They just had a full roster. And so I just feel like it's given that the national finals not as much, to me, importance, just given that you're not playing everyone's full team. And
funnily enough, Squin and I were actually meant to commentate on you. We commentated a Gold Coast game at Nationals. We were Kadhi's not here.
No, we were in Melbourne.
Yeah.
We were in Melbourne and we played 2 practice games, which we didn't even have our full NBL team. So they were kind of not a waste of time. But I was like, let us just go play in this. At least we can go play. We're still playing. But they were like, no, not allowed. So, and that's why I think if we could finish earlier, hopefully then it can give that NBL1 Nationals a bit more of a punch where you've actually got everyone playing in it, not just whoever's available.
I think a lot of people have said that over the years. Just a couple of weeks earlier, get everyone involved. The crowds will be bigger. The teams will be more representative of what's actually happened throughout the season, and the whole thing will work a lot better.
Yeah, and I think it even makes this part easier too for the women and men. Like the women's stuff starts a bit later with their WNBL, which helps. But the men all started probably 2 weeks ago, like full on training. And so like once you get into that environment, it's really hard to be around your NBL1 team as well because you're training every day. So like to go from morning training NBL to NBL1 Tuesday afternoon or night, like, and then you're cycling through it. Some coaches care and are really good with it. Like when I was with Lamanis in Brisbane, he was great. Like, let me have Fridays kind of off so I could be ready to play on the weekend. Where coaches now, we have a lot of American coaches, and I don't know they really care about the NBL1 as much as say an Australian coach would.
There was a comment on Instagram from Ball Don't Lie Australia, the podcast up here in the north, run by Mal Crawford, for you, Jason. Just going back to how you're talking about your minutes and your subbing and stuff. So Jason once subbed off in a Rollers game against the Capitals and then returned after 3 minutes, only checked out for a vomit.
Yeah, I was sick. That was that Capitals. I was no good. And Pete's asked me when I just walked off the floor. And Pete's like, "What do you think you're doing?" I was like, "Bro, I'm no good. I got to run to the bathroom." That's a true story. Went and spewed, came back, subbed myself back in, good to go.
How many threes did you hit after that spew? You must have been feeling better and lighter.
No, I was filthy because I was actually cooking to start the game. So I started the game on fire, and it went downhill after that. But we did still win, and it was much thanks to Tanner Krebs. He was elite that game. I do remember that.
Yeah, so thanks for that nugget of wisdom there from Paul.
Thanks for the reminder.
All right, so we have predictions for. Did we do predictions for the women's final?
Not yet.
Who we got?
Who we got? Katie, go to you first.
It's so hard, eh? Because like the 2 teams that are in this damn final are the 2 teams I lost to. Like, so I'm like, I honestly look. I think Manly might get it, but for the sake of COE, I have a lot of faith in them, so I'm gonna tip COE. And I'm going to tip Fagan for the MVP. I think she's got a great future ahead of her. So I'm going to take Centre of Excellence. Yeah.
Nice. Jace?
I want to say the COE just because they're young and it's always exciting. But I do think Manly, just experience will help them. And I think the fact they can get it done by committee will probably go a long way in a game like this. So I'm going to say Manly. And MVP, I don't know because they could have 4 people who could probably win it. So I'm just going to leave that up for the judges who do the game. But if COE pull it out, I think it'll be because Fagan has a big game.
Lockie, are you allowed to tip given that you're commentating this game? Probably not, actually.
Yeah, I think I have to recuse myself.
Yeah.
No, never. You're a
Well, I
commentator.
vote for,
That's
I have
your
a
job.
vote. I have a vote for MVP, so I better not say anything.
Well, favoritism.
Yeah.
You can have. Everyone has an idea.
I think everyone's well aware who my favorite players are by now. No, I mean, I've said it on calls recently that I think Manly will get it done. And I actually think Kim Dickinson is my shout for MVP.
That's a fair call. Yeah, I'd maybe put her up there if I was saying Manly, but I'm not. But yeah, that's fair enough.
It just leaves you, Squin.
Oh yeah, I'm picking Manly. Like I got asked to make my MVP and my championship picks 2 weeks before the season, and in that 2 weeks, people like Galloway and Noy and all these other people were announced, and I was like, well, I'm going to look like an idiot, but I've picked right so far. But I didn't. I think last episode or the episode before, I was like, Manly's looking like they're going to go all the way with this. And we're hoping that they would last year. But yeah, I think this time, especially because they beat Newcastle now in such a convincing win, I think they're going to go all the way with it this time. I think it's like Jason said, that experience I think is going to come into play. I think they're going to have a little bit more maturity and discipline compared to COE, just in these types of big game situations, because Manly have been in the finals since NBL1 East started. So I think it's Manly. But as for MVP, I think, like Jason said, it could go to anyone. So I think Manly being Manly, everyone's going to contribute evenly, and it's probably just going to be a case of the day of like, oh, who scored the most points, or maybe, because Taylor was second in MVP voting, it will probably go to Taylor. It'll just be one of those days where like, oh, we don't know. We can't split it into 4 trophies. Just give it to that person. Yeah. I think that will be my pick for, picking Manly for that one. Did we proper give our predictions for the men's final?
Yes.
Yep.
And MVPs? Did I zone out?
Well, we didn't do ours. Jason, Katie did theirs.
But
you already picked Illawarra at the start of the season, so you.
I did. So
Yeah,
I picked Illawarra at the start of the season. I picked Blanchfield for MVP. So I better stick with that, hey? Even though I love the Gunners. Love the Gunners, top to toe, the whole program, everything. But I got to stick with my initial pick.
And didn't I pick Canberra at the start of the season?
You did. Yeah.
I did. So I may as well stay with that, and I'll go Will Mayfield Finals MVP as well.
Done. Easy.
Done.
All right. Well, I think that's more or less the end of the episode, right, Lockie?
I think so.
Jason and Katie, it's been awesome having you both, especially like we put this idea for this episode together pretty last minute. So thank you so much for jumping on, giving your predictions and your insights ahead of the grand final this weekend. Katie, you just said you're in Perth, so I'm guessing that you're not going to be able to attend the final in person.
No, unfortunately not.
And are you going to attend the West final this weekend?
I actually went to one on Friday night, and I'm going to. They're still in the prelims over here, so it's not grand till next week. So I'll watch a prelim this weekend probably with some old mates that are playing. Yeah,
nice. And Jason, can the fans expect to see you at Penrith on the weekend?
Oh, I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. It's still Tuesday. I've got many things to happen before I get to Saturday. What time are the games, actually? Are they Saturday afternoon?
2 p.m.
That'll be the first thing.
2 p.m. for the women, 5:30 for the men.
Why so far between?
Just the kerfuffle with
it's separate ticket sales for each game.
net, put a new net up. Is that why?
Okay, I guess.
They want to funnel
maybe
the
celebrations.
Crowd after Prezos,
yeah,
and then bring the new crowd in for the men's game.
We'll see.
Right.
I forgot they
undecided.
Have to in and out the crowd. Stupid.
Yeah,
I'll watch it for sure. I'll be on the live stream.
Yeah, cool.
Might
just don't mute me.
No.
Yeah, don't mute Lockie.
We both expect shout outs in the broadcast now that we've joined this.
Oh, you're 100%. Don't even worry about it. It's fine.
And if you happen to
thanks
flick
for having
over
me.
to yeah, thanks heaps for coming. If you happen to flick over to the NBL1 North Women's Grand Final on the weekend, I'll be sure to give you both a shout out as well. And it'll
That's
have,
just a classic Spartans versus Logan game again, isn't it?
Yeah.
it sure is. Logan beat
It's almost every year.
yeah. I've been told it's another rivalry for the ages, and in the men's competition, it's Cap Spartans, which apparently is also a rivalry. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. But yeah, thanks heaps both for coming on, giving your insights, and more importantly, thank you so much for playing in the NBL1 East competition, bringing your expertise and skill set over here, making our league better and making it way more, but making it even more enjoyable for us as fans and commentators to watch. So yeah, much appreciated that you've been a part of the East this season.
Thank you.
No worries. All right. It's time to sign off. But before we do, Lockie, can you just give our guests a quick goodbye message and reminder about the East?
Well, I know these two would never do it, but
Yeah.
just don't sleep on the East.